Alright, what's going on everyone? Today we have a simple intro tutorial to Premiere Pro. Current release is 2017 and it's probably going to stay the same for most near future releases, so should still be a good video for later on. But this is what it looks like when you load it up for the first time, except you won't have any recent projects because you haven't opened it. So we're just going to make a new project and you can name it anything you want. I'm going to name it YouTube Tutorial. And for the location, you can just leave it at default. I'm going to change it for other reasons because just reasons you don't need to worry about it. It'll mess up my stuff if I don't. But these here you can leave just default because they don't matter when you're first starting. Unless you know what you're doing, don't change them. Just go ahead and click OK, and then it should load the interface like so. I think in the beginning, it loads into this. Not really sure, but if it does, go up to the top here and click assembly. This is kind of the very basic. This is kind of where you're supposed to start putting your project together. So the idea here is you have a folder where you have condensed all of your resources, your videos, pictures, sound, whatever that you want to use for this video that you're going to make. And you're going to import those videos into your project. So this is your project. You're going to import these into it. So I have 2 videos and some audio that I want to use for this video. So we're just gonna drag those into here where it says import media, and then you're done importing. If you want to add stuff in later, so say it's like a project in the making, you can still import stuff into here later and add it to your project. So let me kind of explain what you're looking at. This window, as I've already explained, is where you keep all your resources. If you go over here to another window, there's usually the same little window. See, here it is again. But we're focused on the assembly tab at the moment. Here, this is your timeline. This is where most of your cutting and editing kind of takes place. And I'll show you that in a moment. There's nothing there because we haven't made a sequence, and I'll explain that in a moment. This is your preview window. This is where your video preview will be. It's where you can play, pause, skip ahead, and all that. So now that you have your resources imported, you're ready to actually start making the video. So this is kind of where you gotta make some decisions. For one, you could make a new sequence, but it's kind of complicated, not gonna lie. Most of the time you're gonna have either a file from a camera or a file from like OBS or XSplit, something that recorded said video, and it's gonna be in a certain format like 30 FPS, 24, maybe 60, and a certain resolution. And what you have to decide is, if you have videos of differing like resolutions or frame rates or whatever, you have to decide what frame rate you want your output video to be. Do you want it to be 60? Do you want it to be 24? What resolution? You need to select one of the videos in your resources that has that output resolution and frame rate and whatever that you want. For me, both of mine are 60. Actually, no, they're not. This one is 24, I think. But I want 60 FPS, 1080p, which is what this video is. So I'm going to drag it into here. And that makes a new sequence. And this sequence is what the final rendered video is going to be based off of. So if I import something that's running at 24 FPS into this sequence, the video itself is still going to be 60 FPS. But that particular part of the video will just be played where it kind of looks like 24 FPS. Like, frames will be repeated as needed if if it's not actually 60. It'll kind of adapt. So here we have another clip. This one I believe to be 24 FPS. So you'll see you have the 60 FPS video and you have the 24 FPS video, and you can put them all into the same thing. Nothing's gonna like break. So this is maybe a little bit overwhelming, but just stick with me because things are gonna get explained a little bit better. Basically, you just go into here. You can like drag this around if you need to make things different sizes. But this is how you move around your video itself. This is a timeline, so that goes back and forth in the video time. If you want to like make a certain clip shorter or longer, you can take it and drag it like so, and it'll just cut off the front of it. You can drag it back, it'll bring it back. If you want to cut it at a certain position, you can take that tool there, the razor, and you can cut it, and then you can either clear or ripple delete that. The difference between that is if you click clear, it just deletes it. But if you wanted to, you can ripple delete it and it'll just bring this other part here back so that you don't have the big space. It's just a time saver. And you can cut your videos together like that as needed. You can do that kind of thing. Just whatever you need to do, you can like move stuff around. If you need to add, say, some audio to your video, just get that audio and you just drag it in there. This top, I will have to say this bottom portion here of the editor is all audio. This top portion is all video. So if you were to move the video file up, your audio is going to stay here because it's in a different little section. You can see you can move that audio video boundary right there. If I were to move the audio down here, whoops, it's not going to affect the video. Anyways, something that a lot of people are going to do is they're going to try to sync up camera and video audio. And you can do that by selecting both of them by like shift clicking and synchronized. Audio, mix down, okay. And it will kind of synchronize those audio samples. It takes a moment. It has a lot to process. But there you can see it put the audio where it should be, and let me cut that right there and mute this other audio. Now you can see quiet. I understand some people like, and you can see it plays off of this audio now. So that's an easy way to sync audio up. You don't have to do it by looking at like waveforms and stuff. So anyways, say you've got your video somewhat how you want it, and as far as order and cutting stuff the way you want it to be, but you want to do more things with it. That's where you go to effects. This is actually where I spend most of my time in Premiere. Let me just move this here, it's bothering me. So you have all these effects. Video transitions is probably one of the most used ones. So let's say, come on, let's say you want this to fade in between these two videos here. All you have to do is go find a effect that you want, drag it in between here. Let me zoom in so you can see it. And by the way, I'm holding Alt and using the scroll wheel here. So there's your effect, and now control. You can see it did the control. the effect there. You can delete it, control, and it's gone. You have all these different transitions and stuff that you can do different, you know, however you want to do it, you can do it. You got video effects as well. You have all of these. I'm not going to go into those because, I mean, they're fairly self-explanatory. If you need them, you can probably find them. So audio effects, this is a big one. Audio is very important when you're shooting videos for YouTube or whatever. If you want to have like noise reduction, you can apply that to a certain like audio file. And welcome to the Logitech. You can see how that kind of eliminated some of the noise. And you can, I might do a separate video on all these, but it's not all that important what each one of them does right now. I'm just trying to show you where everything is. So let me undo that. Let's see, color grading. That's how you make stuff look, well, different and good. You know that cinematic look that a bunch of videos have? That's color grading. That's how you can make your stuff look a lot more professional quite easily. So let's see, before, after, and that took like, what, 10 seconds? Look at that, much better. Color grading, it's a great thing. So color tab, and you can have all the different settings here. These are presets. You can mess with them, you can customize them. You can you can go full matrix if you want. But let's see. Editing, surprisingly enough, as a beginner, you will spend no time in the editing tab. It's nearly useless for a beginner. I don't even use it. Effects is where you'll spend most of your time. Audio, I never use. Titles, I don't use that tab. But effects is pretty much where it's at. And let's see, I suppose I can show you nesting as well. This is an important concept, so pay attention. This is pretty much all I'm going to show today, so just please pay attention, this is important. So you have this video here, and you want to edit the video, but you know it's going to be broken up into separate pieces because, you know, you don't want to watch this part, but you want to watch that part, and then you got different parts up ahead that you know you're going to have to cut out. But you want the whole thing to be color graded or something in a certain way. You don't want to have to mess with editing each individual piece later on. That's where, and let me reset this color grading for demonstration purposes. This is where you would do something called nesting. You would right click on the clip that you want to edit, and you'd click nest. And I'm just gonna call it video. You name it whatever you want. Now what that does is that allows you to double click on this video, and you can do, you know, anything you want to it. And then if you come here, you can like cut it. So you see it's now in two separate pieces in the main timeline right here. But you can now edit this video. So I'm gonna do something that's easy to see. I'm gonna color grade it to black and white. Or at least, yeah, color grade it to black and white. So now that whole clip is black and white. But let me get the main sequence up here. So here's the first half of the video, and then there's the second half of the video that's been cut together. But as you can see, they're both color graded black and white because it's part of the same nested piece. So that's a cool thing that you can do. If you don't want to have to worry with editing a bunch of individual pieces, you can just cut it up and edit once. Works for the audio as well. That's how, like, if you're making a gaming video and you know you're gonna have to cut out a bunch of pieces, you nest it first thing when you import it. Then you can go crazy cutting it and splicing it together with other shit. But as long as you have it nested, you can go and edit the entire video, color grade it, whatever, edit the audio without having to worry about going back and editing each individual piece. So that's a really, really useful thing to be able to do. Let's see. The only other thing I'm going to show you is how to make text. And that's really easy. Just go up here to title, new title, default still, click OK. Click the little type tool here. And then you know, you got your text options here, but they don't really matter all that much. You just close it, and then that makes a title. But you see the title's not here. You have to import it or put it into the sequence, and wherever you put it, it'll be there, just like an image or something. So that's pretty much it. Alright, so now just to wrap it up, this is what a typical simple project might look like. See, you have all your resources. You can make folders to put different things into if you want to organize stuff together. Let's see, you got your timeline with all your stuff stacked together and layered and nested, and everything's cut together in the way it should be. You have some titles and all that, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it helped. I don't know, I explained it the best way I knew how, so hopefully you can teach yourself some stuff now off that, and I'll see you in the next video.